Let's face it, liberals are offended by everything.
Right on.
And they have zero sense of humor.
Right on.
Huh?
Right on. It's the party game that pokes fun at political correctness and liberalism run amok.
But making fun of them is hilarious for the rest of us.
So play right on and mock the progressive left and their fake news media counterparts in a variety of categories, such as race hustle, the wussification of America, earth snobs, Islam abomination, Hollywood hypocrites, and campus coddling. Feminism follies and rainbow games, and don't forget, millennial entitlement and many others.
Right on, created by conservatives for conservatives.
Because mocking the left feels so right on.
Give the gift of all year long by going to RightOnGame.com.
That's RightOnGame.com. Use promo code MOJO50 for a 10% discount. That's RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off.
And while you're there, check out the new drinking game option.
Warning, microaggressions contained in this box. Millennials and snowflakes will be offended by its contents. Retreating to safe spaces are highly recommended.
RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off. RightOnGame.com.
You are about to join Don Neuen, co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio, and Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience, for a weekly situation report, or SITREP. 18 hours a day, Denise Simon lives her life as an Intel Analyst. 18 hours a day, Don Neuen lives his life in the world of rock and roll. 1 hour each day, Neuen receives a daily SITREP from Simon. Welcome to the Drive Time Situation Report. Fasten your seatbelt. You're now in Don Neuen's car, and he is calling in for his SITREP.
Hello.
What's up, niece?
Oh, well, just name it, Mr. Don. It's all over the place.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Well, we're going to get after it very quickly here, but ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to tonight's Drive Time Sit Rep. My name is Don Neuen. I co-host the show Cowboy Logic Radio, and on the other end of this confab, you've got Denise Simon, the host of the Denise Simon, or the hostess of the Denise Simon Experience. Which do you prefer, Denise? Host or hostess?
Either one is really fine. I don't really have any preference.
Yeah. Well, neither do I. I don't mind being a hostess.
Okay, good to know.
All right. So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I am driving in brisk 37-degree temperatures here in lovely Atlanta as we had tornadoes blow through Alabama and South Georgia yesterday.
Awful.
And that brought with it some very cold temperatures, which I'm now in. Now, Denise is down there in Central Florida, probably enjoying a balmy 70 or maybe 75-degree weather. Am I correct, Denise?
I was over the weekend, but not so much today. It's turning cold.
And cold is what, like 64?
That's probably what it is now, but we're allegedly tomorrow night, I think we're going down into the 40s.
Ew. And what's that going to do to the Anita Bryant crops?
Well, I mean, the oranges and the citrus, they love it. That's what makes them go ripe. But
oh, really? Why does everybody complain about the cold weather in Florida then?
I don't know that anybody is.
Oh, maybe I'm just making this up. Fake news alert, huh, Denise? Hey, by the way, before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll all join me in wishing Denise Simon a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you. And Merry Christmas back to everybody.
There we go. All right, Denise, let's timestamp this show. For those of you, by the way, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, I am in my car driving home after a long day at work. I've got about a 65-mile drive. I've called up Denise Simon because she has probably, if things are as normal, she has probably spent all day sifting through articles, writing articles, reading articles, watching videos, doing research so that she can give you and me what we call a SITREP, a situation report. She's going to sift through all the BS and give us an hour or roughly an hour of a consolidated update so that we now know what's important that happened today. And she's going to timestamp this show in a second, very eloquently, as she does always. And that's going to give you a reference as to when this show was actually recorded. Why is that important? It's important because a lot of times what Denise Simon talks about is way ahead of the curve. Sometimes a couple of days, sometimes a couple of weeks, sometimes a couple of months, and every once in a while, a couple of years ahead of the curve. So, Denise, without any further ado, please, as you can only do, timestamp tonight's show.
All right. It is the 4th of March in the year of our Lord, 2019, at 9:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight.
All right. So when is the Ides of March?
I have no idea.
Well, maybe on the break we can look that up so we can share that factoid with all the listeners. All right, Denise, we got about 16 and a half minutes left in this segment. What happened today other than Luke Perry died?
Yeah, wasn't that kind of a shocker? I'm beginning to kind of feel my own mortality as somebody that much younger than me dies of a massive stroke.
Well,
yikes.
You know, he went in last week. Last
Yes.
Wednesday, I remember reading about that. And, you know, clearly there was something going on in his life. You would think somebody that could have gold-plated everything would be maybe a little more up on his game than that. But, hey, you know, you never know. That's the scary thing about strokes.
Well, that's for sure. You're in the music business, quasi-music business. All right.
I
Reminded
never worked with that guy.
I am reminded today of a rock group called Culture Jam.
Culture Jam?
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that their name?
Culture Club with Boy George.
Is that what it is? Culture Club, Culture Jam?
Well, it depends. If you're coming up with some lounge act out of Central Florida that named themselves Culture Jam, you might be correct. If you're talking about Boy George, he was in Culture Club.
Culture Club. Okay, well, it's not my kind of music anyway, but nonetheless, I'm thinking that we are in a place where the Culture Club is in a fracture, and we are in a culture jamming mode right now. Do you think so?
I think so.
I think
I have
maybe
no
we
idea
ought
where you're going with
well,
this.
I think we ought to coin a new phrase. I think we ought to coin a new phrase that the Democrats are causing culture jamming.
Okay.
Everything that was precious to America and everything that was sacrosanct is now being challenged. From the John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California. They don't want his name on the airport anymore. I heard about that. To the Green New Deal with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So she doesn't want us eating hamburgers. Now they want to regulate how many babies we have, if we have any at all. And those that are born, wait a minute, we're not so sure they ought to be here, so we may just set them aside on a table and let them expire naturally. We can't have free speech. We've got constitution zones now. You have to get a permit to speak. We're taking down historic. You see where I'm going? You see?
Yeah.
So we're being culture jammed, right?
Culture jammed. I think it's a great new catchphrase.
I mean, now, we can't really bring up a topic that is not being challenged somehow by the Democrats.
The left.
Yes. The Marxists. I mean, we have to admit it.
Couldn't agree with you more. Matter of fact, why don't we start a new trend, Denise? I like the culture jam thing, but let's no longer refer to the Democrat Party in the United States of America as the Democrat Party. Let's refer to them as the Marxists.
Or the culture jammers.
I like that better. The Marxists are culture jamming.
Yes. I mean, you can't deny it here anymore. Everything
So
that...
the best of our ability, listen, the best of our ability, anytime you are going to say the Democrat Party, the Democrats, let's just call them Marxists. The Marxist Party, the Marxists, or Marxists. I think all of our beloved listeners will go right along with this. Okay?
Jeez.
Okay.
So here we are with head of the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, a Marxist.
Right.
All right, so he decides he's going to get on some of these Sunday talk shows, and he's going to subpoena just about everybody in the Trump orbit. You know, maybe going back to when, you know, his kids were in, you know, elementary school. We want to know what they were doing.
Right.
And the Democrats have pretty much said...
The who?
Okay, the culture jammers and the Marxists have pretty much said they've already written off the Mueller report. They've already written off the entire Mueller investigation, right?
Right.
That's where we are.
They didn't get what they wanted.
And they don't have anything yet, but when they're pretty sure that whatever, you know, $15 billion or $15 million that the Mueller team has spent and hasn't given, you know, coughed up all the things that they want. Now the left, all these new committee chairs have decided, here's where I'm going with this. They have decided that they're going to take their power and the money's allocated to each of their committees. And they're, with all these investigations that they're doing, they're actually not having to pay for opposition research going into 2020. They're creating the opposition research by what, you know, the Adam Schiff and the Jerry Nadlers are doing. So
Exactly.
So the Democrat
all boils. Hold on, you said the Democrats again, the Marxists. This all boils down to the fact that the Marxist Party in 2016 lost, and they can't frickin' get over it.
Well, I started to say that the Democrat National Committee
and the Marxist National Committee
and their legal representation, the Perkins Coie law firms and lobbies, they don't have to be paid anymore to go find opposition research. Because what Nadler and Schiff and Pelosi and Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and all the rest of them, what they're doing is doing government-paid opposition research now for 2020.
Right. And do you think they're going to find anything?
It doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but do you think they will?
No.
Of course.
Okay, but here's the deal.
They're just pissing away government tax dollars.
And resources and time and staff.
Yeah. And they're creating the quagmire that you and I talked about the night after the election in 2016. That continues. That's their objective. The Marxist Party lost. They're terrible losers. And this is what we're seeing as the result of it. And I'm going to get this plug in right now so that we can get through the rest of the show without me saying it again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know anyone that is going to vote Democrat in 2020 at a local, state, or federal level, they own 100% the toxic, twisted, sick, weirdo, kooky policies and agendas that the Marxist Party is spewing forth. And you can go right ahead and label all of these people that are going to vote for a Democrat as a Marxist, because that too is what they shall be, at least in my opinion. How about you, Denise? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's clearly Stalinist to me. I mean, You know,
So
what?
is it, in your opinion, is it accurate and safe to label anybody that votes for a candidate that has a D behind their name as a Marxist? Can we lump them in? Because we've been lumped in as Nazis, Hitler sympathizers, racists, Islamophobics, homophobics, deplorables, anti-American, nationalists, white supremacists. We've been labeled all of that. And quite frankly, I know I speak for you as well, and Donna Fiducia, are none of those descriptions. But we've been labeled that. So is it okay, racists, is it okay for us to label anybody that votes for a politician that has a D behind their name? Can we call them out and call them a Marxist? Are we okay doing that?
I am.
Good. So it shall be.
Yes.
Merry Christmas, Denise.
That was something precious that culture jamming thing. They wouldn't even allow us to do that, would they?
Nope. The Marxists will not allow us to do that.
They don't like people that go to church. They don't like Catholics. Oh God. They don't like the Jews.
They don't like the baby Jesus. They don't like the baby Jesus, Denise.
Well, here we are. I think that we need to take a very wide look at all of the things that are under the Marxist attack machine. Everything. I mean, I can't really think of anything that's exempt. Education at the college level. I mean, we had Common Core. Obviously the Second Amendment. Now we want to legalize prostitution. So trafficking these women. Hello, Robert Kraft. Trafficking women.
Part of that is so that Kamala Harris can justify sleeping with somebody to get ahead with her, her career.
Well, but
she's a Marxist.
The
they
fascinating
sleep with anybody.
The fascinating thing is that nobody's speaking to the other part of this raid that happened in South Florida, and that's the bigger part of the issue, is that these girls, these women, came here on some kind of a visa. So we obviously have a visa vetting problem. Came here on some kind of a visa, were promised the sun and the moon and the stars. They couldn't leave the place. They had to sleep on the very massage beds that massage tables or whatever they were, that they were, providing these services. And then they had to cook on, a hibachi or a wok in the back parking lot. They weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah.
That's the bigger part of the issue. So shame on Robert Kraft. I don't care who he goes and hires. I don't care. But the bigger part of the whole thing is, hey, dude, can't you be a little more discriminating here and figure out where these girls came from? Does any of that even bother you?
The article that I read on that, and I'm not defending Kraft, nor am I defending his selection of it's not extramarital, post-marital affairs. But, the bottom line is this. From what I read, he was indulging in these extracurricular sexual activities with the madam of the house and some other individual that was not necessarily one of these trafficked individuals. So he may not have known about the trafficking.
Oh, give me a break.
No, I'm being serious.
Give me a break. You walk into the place and you're going to see all these girls. Don't you start going, wonder where they came from? I mean, give me a break.
Look at their eyes and tell where they came from.
Sure.
The point is this. I'm not saying that, listen, I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying that he probably, let me rephrase that. He may not have known the rest of the story.
Then he's an idiot.
Okay, well, maybe
All
he
you have
is.
to do is look around, and you can sum up the whole situation in a New
But
York
if he didn't
minute.
go out back, he didn't see the walks.
Oh, Don,
I'm not defending
I'm
the
not
guy.
giving anybody any breaks on this one.
All right, well, that's fine. And I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to be clinical, Denise, like you are. I've trapped you at your own game. And
Well,
the entire listening audience is applauding me for doing it. Because I rarely can.
Okay, then you score one. You win.
Okay.
Is that what you
Listen
want?
to
You
that,
win.
ladies and gentlemen. Listen to that. Say it again, Denise.
You
Say it
win.
again. What did I won? Me? Moi? Merry Christmas. I love you like a sister, Denise Simon.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Now, let's get back to the Marxists.
Well, I haven't heard any of the Cory Bookers or the Kamala Harrises or the Elizabeth Warrens or the Nancy Pelosi's, even Bernie Sanders, speak to 70,000 people dying of fentanyl overdose. What they want to do is they want to go after the big pharma, the drug companies, for producing opioids. But they haven't even, and make sure, by the way, that they get, all of the antidotes into law enforcement. So now law enforcement has really become first responders for medical attention.
Exactly.
So they haven't spoken to that either. But we're going to legalize marijuana.
Because these were potential voters for them.
Well, that's just it. They're going after a section of the population that has no desire to vote, probably has never voted, couldn't care less about voting.
Unless you pay them $20, unless you pay them $20 and run them all over Ohio.
But if if you get 10% or 20% of that population and say, hey, we'll come pick you up and take you over here, they don't even know who's running for president.
They don't care. The Marxists don't care.
That's my point.
Exactly. All right, hang on. Got to see how much time we got. Very little time. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Drive Time Sit Rep with Denise Simon and Don Neuen, who she just said, I win. I am going to savor this for the next 3 years, Denise. Listen, we're going to be back after a short break. I will continue to win. As a matter of fact, I am going to get sick and tired of winning. I'm going to win so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Drive Time Sit Rep. We'll be right back.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
This is Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic Radio, and I carry my Sig Sauer 9mm every day. It's like a MasterCard. I never leave home without it.
And I'm glad you do, given that you work in Atlanta every day, talking about a rough place to work.
Well, Donna, I would say that most of our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners not only own, but carry their weapons too. It's just the thing to do nowadays.
So do I, Don. And we need to share with our listeners a fantastic weapons company, Tar River Arms. Oh, and I should mention, they were founded by United States Marine, enough said, right? Badass-o-matic.
TarRiverArms.com. That's TAR Riverarms.com.
Tar River Arms, America's first virtual gun store, makes it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearm online. And through 3D interactive experiences, you can even view and inspect that gun you're purchasing.
They even have weekly specials that eliminate shipping and broker fees, Donna. Great guns, great prices, and great service. And remember, Tar River Arms is veteran-owned and operated.
Don, would you expect anything less from a Marine?
No, ma'am.
At TarRiverArms.com, you can search by caliber, manufacturer, and firearm types. Revolvers, semi-automatic pistols, including your SIG, Don, short-barrel rifles, long rifles, shotguns, and NFA silencers. They even have very hard-to-find products such as the H&K MP5. Totally badass.
Tar River Arms have some of the coolest high-end tactical weapons made, all at great prices.
TarRiverArms.com, U.S. Marine owned and operated.
Hoorah!
Hey, gang, did you know that the big cellular companies fund liberal causes and candidates, not Patriot Mobile?
You're correct, Donna. Did you know that the big mobile companies have spent over $100 million to elect liberal candidates? They also fund liberal causes, agendas, and organizations such as Planned Parenthood, not Patriot Mobile.
Here's how it works. You, our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners, pay your cell phone bill every month. Then Big Mobile takes your money and gives millions to liberal candidates who authorize subsidies to provide free cell service, Obama phones, to do-nothings who vote for more liberals so they can keep getting more free stuff that you pay for. Not Patriot Mobile.
So here's how you fight back. Switch to Patriot Mobile with unlimited plans starting as low as $20 a month and stop funding the big cellular companies.
Feel good about funding the right agendas. Every dollar you spend makes a statement. What message are you sending?
And it's easy to switch. You can even keep your same number, and they've got great nationwide coverage that includes Double D Ranch.
Visit them online at patriotmobile.com or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
And for any of the guilt-ridden liberals, that's 1-800-272-8746.
Created by conservatives for conservatives. Their name says it all. Patriot Mobile. Do it now. patriotmobile.com or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
Ladies and gentlemen, what message are you sending?
Welcome back to the Drive Time SITREP, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen. I am cascading along I-20, headed west, going home after a long day at work. And you've got on the other end of this conversation the brilliant, the stellar, the gifted, the unbelievably bright, insightful, and she's a tennis hottie, Denise Simon. I'm trying to rebuild, Denise. Tell me you love me.
Okay, I love you.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about the Marxist Party, the Marxists, and anybody that you know that votes for anybody with a D behind their name at a local, state, or federal level. Now you can call them Marxists. We're calling them out for what they are, what they stand for. Denise, please pick up where we had to leave off when we went to break.
Are you familiar with the Cloward Piven?
Most certainly.
Okay. Well,
but I tell you what, in case we have any listeners that are not, give the thumbnail of what Cloward Piven's strategy is, how it's being implemented, how it's been implemented in our country, and what it'll do.
Well, it would actually happen about 1966, and we had a fellow by the name of Richard Cloward and Francis Piven, and they called for virtually overloading the U.S. public welfare system in order to create a crisis. So what you do is you can, it was allegedly to, end poverty or some kind of nonsense. But what you're doing is you're mainstreaming chaos. When you overload a system, you mainstream the chaos. And that's where we are today. That's why I started off this thing talking about culture jamming, because anything that was sacred, anything that was sacrosanct, anything that was, I don't want to say precious, but the rights that we have, all of these things are under, by all of the Marxists, they're all under attack, to remove
our Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, the Bill of Rights. So, it's really quite fascinating, that's where we are. And I really think it's a moment in time where I believe, because a lot of these candidates that are throwing their hats in the presidential ring, and now we have Hickenlooper. Can you imagine saying President Hickenlooper? Anyway.
We won't. Don't worry about it.
I know that. But the point being that they're getting advice and consent and consulting from Hillary. Well, who was Hillary? Hillary was an acolyte of the Cloward-Piven strategy, as was Obama.
Of course.
So we cannot forget that. I think that whole file folder has been resurrected, and it's now sitting on top of lots of Marxist desks. So
let me expand very quickly on the Cloward-Piven, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are not familiar with this whole strategy, this concept, this game plan, the design is to, as Denise said, collapse, but specifically collapse the economy of the United States or any country that this would be implemented in. It puts the welfare state as such an economic burden on a country that it actually collapses within itself. Now, at that point, all of the people that are freaking out because the entire system has collapsed look to who to recover it? The government, the statists. And then they push the reset button and they turn this country into a two-caste system where you've got the elites or the statists and the rest of us. So basically what happens is you might eliminate the poverty class, but in doing so, you combine and eliminate the middle class. Therefore, you've got one class of serfs. You agree with me on that, Denise?
Well, and I would also say that we have some rogue foreign leaders. We can name all kinds of them, but least of which would be the mullahs in Tehran and those like Maduro in Venezuela or Putin in Moscow, that they are, they have studied this too, and they're all too happy to help with the chaos and to overload the system. Now, the question becomes, if we recognize this, do we really have people in place in key government roles that can recognize this and fight this off? Or if they don't have those resources, but they recognize, are they calling on us? And I'm not hearing that. We had a lot of that when the Tea Party was created, 10 years ago? We need to have this back again. This is our moment. Certainly going into 2020. I mean, the presidential campaign is in full swing now. It's not deniable. The only person we're waiting for is Joe Biden, to show up.
Right.
And I'm not convinced he is here at this point.
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody inside the Beltway is going to bring up and discuss Cloward-Piven because, quite frankly, with the exception of a small handful, they're all statists.
Well, I mean, you've got the Cato Institute, you got the Manhattan Institute, you got the Competitive Enterprise Institute, you got the Heritage Foundation. I mean, we can go on and on and on. And then you got conservative talk radio. And I'm really kind of surprised that all of these think tanks are not reaching out to conservative media and asking for our help, number one. And then number two, that we're not having, I guess, kind of breakout sessions across the country where we can begin to educate some of these leaders and or potential leaders in taking on some of these things. I mean, when do you ever hear anybody talk about the Department of Education? You don't. When do you hear anybody talking about the EPA anymore? You don't. But I guess what's at issue here is we're kind of just lost. I mean, we're like a ship without a rudder here, and I think that we may have to go back and revisit some of the speech that Trump gave in the State of the Union, which I think was a remarkable speech. And we're going to have to grab some piece parts out of there And we have some work to do. We're going to have to fight these headwinds, because I guarantee you, going over the summer when the Congress is really going on the break and they're back in their districts and whatnot, this Cloward-Piven strategy is going to be taking out breakout things, and it's just going to get worse when we come back into real session going into the fall. Do you agree?
I do. But you got to remember who started this whole major discussion back in the Tea Party days. Isn't it terrible that we have to refer to that as if it once was?
Yeah.
But it was Glenn Beck.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, in 2009 and 2010 and 2011 and 2012, we were all beating that drum real hard. But I guarantee you, if you call up your representative for your district that you live in and speak to one of their aides, they're not even going to know what the Cloward-Piven strategy is. And that's a big damn problem.
And then if you're, of course, a staffer that works for Amy Klobuchar, you might be getting fired every 10 minutes and having to run out and get salads.
Well, yeah. But my point is, a lot of times when you call these staffers or these aides, they act like you're some kind of a right-wing nutcase, or they have no idea what you're talking about, or both. Because they don't know what you're talking about, they act like you're a nutcase, and they placate with you and patronize you to get you off the phone.
Yeah, they'll make a note of it. What's your zip code?
30170.
No, but I'm saying that's what they ask. I'll make a note of it. And what's your zip code? So that's what they do.
Exactly. And I guarantee you some of these young millennials have no idea what's going on with Cloward-Piven. And it's a very real situation. It is taking place.
We have Hillary that, found her way to Selma, Alabama over the weekend. And she's talking about how we have a crisis in our democracy. Those were her words. But I think she's right. But she's right for the wrong reasons. She's right. I mean, we have a crisis here. And I don't hear, even the Sean Hannitys or the Laura Ingrams, I don't hear them speaking to the much larger picture that's necessarily going on. When's the last time you heard anybody speak to what's going on in California, if in anything? You haven't.
When's the last time you heard somebody refer to our country as a republic?
So I would say, for the sake of the listeners out there, pick a topic and see if the Marxists haven't attacked it, whatever it might be. And I think we need to be making some. I challenge the listeners to just pick a topic one a week, and just kind of research it. Education, just see what you can find out in a week. And then the following week, go on to, I don't know, taxes or voting rights or, the Constitution or NSA. I mean, we can go from the sublime to the ridiculous, can't we?
Yeah, most certainly. We cover a lot of it every week on the Drive Time SITREP, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity for those of you that are jumping into this program for the first time. You're listening to the Drive Time SITREP. My name is Don Neuen. I am in my car on Interstate 20 headed west on my way home. I have called into Denise Simon, which we record this conversation, just like we're doing, one time a week for you guys, so you can see what this SITREP's all about. And Denise always brings up things that we need to be talking about, things that we need to be doing, giving us bullets for our guns so that we can go out and fight the fight. And that's exactly what's going on tonight. We've been talking about Cloward-Piven. We've been talking about the Marxist Party that we've got here in the United States that is hiding behind a big D called the Democrat Party. And we're encouraging all of you to refer to them exactly as they are, which is the Marxist Party, or Marxists if you're referring to them individually or collectively. We also are encouraging you to label anybody that you know that votes Democrat as exactly what they are. Marxists. They support the Marxist Party in the United States. And it's about time that we start taking off the 20-pound gloves and putting on the cage fighting gloves or bare knuckling it and start fighting back.
It was, just a handful of days ago that there was a fairly sizable drug raid in New York. And there was enough fentanyl in this drug raid at this home in a sleepy little town to kill 2 million people.
Yep.
Have you heard a single Democrat speak to that?
Nope.
Anybody? And
Nope.
What was it like 2 or 3 weeks ago? There was enough to kill 10 million people?
Yeah.
Have you heard a single Democrat speak to the fact that, how did it get here? I went and did a little bit of checking on the 5 people that were arrested in this raid in New York. 1 is a U.S. citizen and 4 are not.
Mm-hmm. How did it get into our country?
Well, we don't know that yet. I worked pretty hard here today to find some of that out. Did it come in through the ports of entry, or do we have some kind of a distribution network? In this case, they were Dominicans that were working for the cartels. Mm-hmm. Now, did this happen to come in through the mail system? I don't think 2 million, enough fentanyl to kill 2 million came in through the mail. I think this came in through a port of entry somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the Democrats on that?
You mean the Marxists?
Yeah, where?
They're
Just
El
where?
Silento, Denise. They're not going to bring this up.
It's a rhetorical question, Don.
I know it is. But they're open border freak kooks. They don't care how it gets in. They don't care about this.
All right. So anyway.
Hey, hold on a second. Before I want to interrupt you because I read a headline today that says the second person, I believe in London, looks like they may have arrested the HIV virus. Did you see anything about that?
I did not.
All right. Well, I saw it as a headline in Drudge. That could be a warm and fuzzy moment here if we could substantiate that.
The one thing that I find to be very interesting is that Trump, I think at his CPAC speech, mentioned that he was going to soon be signing an executive order on suspending federal dollars going to universities that don't allow for free speech. And this was a result of Hayden Williams, who was there at CPAC and part of Turning Point USA, getting the snot knocked out of him by some freak who was arrested, I think, just this past weekend.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm good for that. I'm actually good on suspending federal dollars going into these universities, especially UCLA Berkeley, which, by the way, that school alone, just that campus, receives about $500 million a year in federal dollars.
Time for us suspending all of them, Denise.
Well, what's at risk here totally is federal dollars going into universities is $28 billion. Now, we all remember little Miss Janet Napolitano.
Oh, yeah.
The former governor.
She's running UC, right?
Well, she runs the entire state of California university
That's
system.
That's what I mean.
She hadn't said a word.
No, because she's probably crafting some kind of a lawsuit.
I don't know that he can suspend this. I think it would take the Department of Justice in order to do that kind of thing. But I'm glad that he put the shot across the bow out there on this one. So
let me ask you this. Why would the Department of Justice not do this? It's an infringement on a constitutional right.
The Ninth Circuit, maybe?
Screw the Ninth Circuit. I'm so tired of the Ninth Circuit.
But, I mean, that's where we are with sanctuary city dollars.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but at least I think it was a message to our new Attorney General, Mr. Barr, to tap somebody on the shoulder in some department, at the Department of Justice, to take a long look at the legalness of suspending or terminating federal dollars into those universities that violate free speech. Right?
Yeah. I'm all for it.
Do you have to wonder why in the world we're giving dollars to them anyway?
That was my point 4 minutes ago when I said
most of it is done.
Suspending all of it.
Well,
I don't think they ought to be tax free. I don't think they ought to be 501c3 or 4.
Most of it is because of research that these universities do. So it's money that goes to them on a grant basis when they're doing some government work. And there's some things there that I do understand.
Okay. Yeah, and a hell of a lot of it goes to these ridiculous pensions for people that couldn't make it in the private sector if they had to.
Well, our little activist, Zachary Greenberg, that sucker punched Hayden Williams, was arrested for assault. So we'll see necessarily where that case goes, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll go to the Ninth Circuit.
Well, now you understand. I remember years ago saying that the issue that we had, that early on in the Obama administration, the issues that we had was at the judicial system, even in local judges. So I don't know how much time we have left, but let's talk about Edward Snowden for a second, shall we?
Hang on, I'll look so you know. 4 minutes and 27 seconds, Denise.
Edward Snowden, he revealed several programs from the NSA, and one was necessarily known as the phone program, right? Where they were like watching all of our phones and capturing all of our calls and jamming them someplace. There's that word again, jamming. Right. Well, quietly today, according to the New York Times, this disputed program, the NSA phone program, has been shut down. So your domestic calls and text messages that touched off all the rules about privacy and the rule of law and all these other kinds of things, it has been terminated.
Who sparked that?
Well, that's actually a good question. Not too sure that I know that. But it says that they have not used the system in months, and that the Trump organization or administration is not going to ask Congress to renew its legal authority. So it's going to expire here. It's been shut down, but it will formally expire at the end of 2019. Not going to use it again. And of course, we needed it. I don't disagree with what George W. Bush felt like he needed to do directly after 9/11. We needed to really kind of catch up to see where we were in the world. And
but what we didn't need was the Obama administration turning another federal agency against the American people and using it as a weapon.
Well, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand this, but all those things that Trump, that Bush did in the Patriot Act and the USA, they all had sunset clauses to them, and under the Obama administration, they kept renewing them. So we can't blame Bush for his Marxist tactics back then. I think that we needed to see necessarily where we were, but officially, the NSA has not used it. And, there was a discussion where did any of those phone records or any of those text messages ever thwart an attack since? Well, therein lies where the dispute really is. We're never going to necessarily know the answer to that question. But apparently we're not using it.
And you know what? And you know what? Maybe we shouldn't know the answer to that question.
Well, and then, of course, that's when you get into the FISA court thing, right?
Well, we got to save that for next week. We're out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Drive Time Sit Rep with the fantastic Denise Simon on one end of this conversation. My name's Don Neuen, and I would encourage you all to check out Denise's show this week. Denise, you got to go very quickly. Tell us who your guests are Thursday night at 9 p.m. on the Denise Simon Experience.
I got Jeff McCoy at Pacific Legal talking about eminent domain and Foxconn in Wisconsin. Jay Dobbins talking about the gang problem. Tom Del Picaro talking about the attorney-client privilege violation on Michael Cohen. And Adam Andrzejewski is talking about how the federal government is still caching and inventorying weapons and ammunition.
All of those people are doing stellar work, ladies and gentlemen. That show is going to be very good. Thursday night, 9 p.m., the Denise Simon Experience. As always, catch Cowboy Logic Radio Tuesday night, 9 p.m. on whatever station you're listening to this show on. We appreciate the fact that you've checked out Drive Time Sit Rep with Denise Simon and Don Neuen. We're going to be back next week, same time, same station. Denise, take us home.
Thanks for listening, and God bless America.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Hey, Donna, Cowboy Logic Radio listeners love law enforcement.
That's right, Don. And Charity Magnets designs and produces beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement supporters and enthusiasts.
They've got very impressive honor badge car magnets.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got license plate honor badges.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got cool keychains and license plate frames.
CharityMagnets.com. I'm on their website right now, and this is my favorite, the Honor Badge dog tag. Look at that little doggy with the dog tag. He's so cute.
Donna, we're trying to do an ad read, and you're playing around on their website, which happens to be CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute.
Donna.
Okay. Hey, this is huge, too. For each sale, a donation will be made to Cops for Kids with Cancer. Cops for Kids with Cancer has given more than $2.5 million in donations. Yes.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Like Donna is doing right now, go to CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute. All right, use the promo code MOJO for $5 off any purchase. I know you all love and support our brave law enforcement professionals and their families. Show your support today by going to CharityMagnets.com and check out that little puppy. He's so cute. Hey, Don, can we go to the pound, get another rescue dog, please? Pretty
No,
please?
Donna, no. 5 rescue dogs are enough, but I'm going to CharityMagnets.com, and I'm making some purchases right now.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Enter MOJO at checkout and get $5 off. CharityMagnets.com.